As we say, the champs are here, ready to rumble. Josh Kane and Callum Singleton. Two brilliant players who might have found fortune in their appearance on finals night, but certainly not in the way in which they won it. They were absolutely magnificent on the night itself. Tom Jones Jr. breaking off, and he's absolutely sledged that. And you simply can't believe that's dry. He's just checking. No balls down, Tom.
Heard nothing, started counting the balls. Yeah, he can't believe it, I can't believe it. Might not see a break hit better than that in the whole competition.
You can't hit a break better than that.
So
Cue ball completely safe in the middle of the table. 13 of the 15 balls have gone north of the middle pockets, and somehow not one's found a hole.
Yeah, and looks like it's going to be a slightly awkward finish here. Break that good. Normally you think, okay, it's going to be wide open, but because they've all gone into the same half of the table, just a little bit of work. There's one yellow on the left-hand side, assuming they go yellows. They could go reds, but it would leave one red in the middle, two reds in the middle. That would be awkward. So yellow's always the play. But the yellow on the left-hand side does not pass to top left. Now, do you play on it to bottom left? Do you play into it? I think they would have wanted to play into it, but now hampered queuing. They've got the angle, they just don't have the access to the cue ball. Fouled himself there, just caught it on himself. Was just playing safe. That's one of the things that Callum, he's got an all-round game as Callum. He's not as all-out as some of the top players, but just feathers the red. And you see there, immediately calls it on himself. So they're going to try and pop into the red here, try and get it into play, but not easy to get it past the yellows here. Controlled that really well.
Two pairs in action right now. Another pair watching on from the sidelines. There they are, Teddy White and Lucas Earnshaw. Two young lads who are ready to create a little bit of history tonight. Whatever happens, they will be the youngest pairing in Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup history, and that's a record that will take some breaking.
It's hard to believe it could be.
For the Joneses here, they'll be hoping to do what Combe Bradford and Paul Bradford did, and Vivek Mack and Vic Mack did in qualifying for a finals night as a father and son duo.
When they played that last one, I thought they were going to take the one along the top cushion. The reason it's a little bit awkward here, even though it's wide open now, is the red that's above the 8 ball, just to the left-hand side. You can't really get straight enough on that to hold on the other red. You're likely to be kind of 3/4 ball, maybe half ball. Might be able to use the yellow, but you might flick off the yellow. So connecting the two at the top up can be tricky. Might go all the way up here the way he's looking.
Yeah, it's a lovely shot.
Does mean it's a smaller window going this way round, but I think easier to connect them this way round than them going the other.
Small window for sure, but I think Tom Jones Sr. has absolutely nailed that. Little angle to come out as well. Yeah, absolutely pinpoint. That was a lovely shot that he played.
Yeah, good choice from Tom as well to use the 8 ball. If he hits the 8 ball, 4 ball, he's guaranteed. It was a nice touch as well.
And here we go. Great finish first up. These two will be really pleased with that. It was tricky. And there we go. 1-0 to the Joneses. Excellent start. I gotta say, I mean, we talk about the differences between the pairs and the Champions League, and we will see a big difference, certainly in terms of standard, just because, we've got essentially the 64 best players in the world are in the Champions League, and that's not exactly the case in the Pairs Cup, because there's twice the amount of players, a lot more sort of wild cards, there's qualifiers, there's all that sort of thing going on. Plus the dynamics of playing in pairs doesn't necessarily allow players to always play their best stuff right from the gun, so it does get a little bit mixy. And what we do tend to say a lot more in the pairs is, for the newer players, it takes that adaptation time to the table, to the cloth, to the surroundings, you know, the lights, the cameras, all the rest of it. But that will be such a boon for Tom Jones Sr. there and his son, who have started perfectly. Took out a really fiddly finish and did so with really precise cue ball control.
Yeah, agreed. But for everything you've just said as well, are Callum and Josh as big favourites as we'll see in the competition as well? Simply being defending champions, the only all-pro partnership of the night, taking on a pair of 10-year-olds, a father-son, and then obviously the Welsh internationals, who are both very, very good players in their own right, but they are the only two professionals. I think there'll be a lot of attention on them tonight. Callum couldn't quite get his lines right, so hands over. Pretty wide open chance here to Tom Jones Sr. And we talked, just as we were coming into the match, of trying to set your partnership up right. If you're on the right side of the arena, and we're going to talk about this for the next 21 weeks, but if you are on the right side of the arena, you will want to set up this way, where you have your strongest player playing match or frame 3. And that's what they've done here with Junior playing the 3rd frame, because if you're on the right-hand side of the arena, you play player 1, player 2, and then when you switch to the 2nd round of individual games, you go player 2, player 1. So essentially, Tom Jones Jr. will play the next 3 frames after this.
That's a jarring miss from Tommy Jones Sr., who puts his hand up in apology, and the reason why he's done that is he's had a bit of a touch with how he's left these, unless Callum can get through to the bottom of the table. Or he could. Yeah, no need for the hand of apology. Callum Singleton rams that home.
He tried to do that with his first shot and he couldn't make it full. This time he gets it right, but has a bit too much angle on this yellow to top left. A lot of reds to play through. He had a quick look at whether the cut or the double was on it. Double doesn't quite look like it's there. Might be if he can straighten it. If not, it's the cut.
I watched a bloke on TikTok this week talk a lot about how difficult it is cut balls down the right.
I wonder who that is.
Talk to me about it, because that was exactly the point that you were making in that video.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get good on those sorts of shots, they just become incredibly difficult, and that the key. Everyone's looking for a little bit of secret sauce how to make them, and get good on them. It's always going to be my my answer to those questions.
And a point that I thought was really interesting that you made is, if you were to play that shot with a cue ball that was the same size as the other ball, it becomes infinitely easier, because you sort of aim for the exact gap of cushion and ball, but you can't really do that with the smaller white.
Yeah, it becomes a lot harder. It's one of those strange things with English 8 ball. Can actually overcut a ball that's on the cushion. This is a brilliant opportunity for Tom Jones Sr. because they've won the opening frame as well. For everything I said previously, the fact that Tom plays the next 2 individual frames, that is Tom Jr., and they'll play the Scotch. If they go 2-0 up here, everything favours them. The match clock, the situation for their partnership, all the pressure will be on the defending champions if he can clean up here.
Going to have a shot to play.
Yeah, you've got to make a decision here. Do you just drop this in, take the red down to bottom right and use the big pocket, or do you try and make it direct? There is a gap between making it as a big pocket shot and not, or does he play into it or play onto it to the top? So he's playing the shot I'd suggested.
I think he's going to play this dead weight, because he's thinking, if this doesn't fall, it's still very hard for Callum to get out.
Depends whether he needs to pull the cue ball back for the 8 ball or whether he can drop it in for the 8 ball in the corner or not, but I agree with you. Benefits him if he can make it sit on the table.
Oh, or just fly it in down the rail. Yeah. Tom, don't worry about that, pal.
Lovely shot.
Lovely bit of cue. Tom Jones Sr. has started very, very well indeed. He gets the frame win over Callum Singleton, and all of a sudden the defending champs are staring down the barrel here of the Tommy Guns.
Yeah, and to add even more to it as well, Tom Jones Jr. will play the next singles frame and has the break. Then it is the Scotch frame, and then Tom Jones Jr. has the break again. So everything is set up for them right now.
Yeah, it's Odds against now, Josh Kane and Callum Singleton winning this here match, but that is not to say that that can't happen. If Tom Jones Jr. can reproduce the break that he hit in frame 1, though, you have to believe that he'll give himself a chance. Doesn't get the same explosion, gets the same outcome.
This is as good as it gets in terms of layouts, trying to get your first frame in the Pairs Cup. These have just popped open beautifully. Fully expect Josh Kane to run through these.
And he may need to run. Not quite literally, but speedily enough.
Get nicely on the one on the left-hand side cushion would be my suggestion. Assuming he goes yellows, I'll be very surprised if he doesn't go yellows. You can make a case for reds. Every red has a pocket, but I think yellows are the better layout. If he can, I quite like coming across the table as soon as possible for this one on the left-hand side. If he can just screw the gap of the reds, because he'll have guarantee balls afterwards. I don't think he tried to there. The way he played that. If he did, it's a major misjudgment.
I think he's wondering if he can maybe use the one to bottom right to swing around.
Could go 2 cushions and into it here.
Yeah, same sort of line actually. There you go.
Could have come out a lot better than that.
Yeah, couldn't it just?
How confident would you be with a drop in the centre? It looks not too bad from the main camera, but when you look from the overhead, it looks a mile away. Yeah, not surprised. Because if it was a comfortable drop in the centre, you'd go bottom left corner there.
Take 2.
Yeah, it's nicely done.
Lovely shot from Josh Killer Kane.
It's still well guarded though. It's still well guarded because he's getting there from the yellow on the right hand side, and you just saw him have a look at the 2 gaps he's got to try and play with.
I think he wants to be pretty much exactly straight on this, and if he just replaces the yellow with the cue ball, I think he's got a gap. Oh, well, he's taking it now.
Yeah, if he's on it now, you take it now. Don't risk trying to get back on that gap.
Yeah, there you go. Find an angle to force around as well. It's come out nicely, this for Josh.
Just shows you, even on a finish like this, where you've got 1 half bad ball, everything has been about that ball the whole way through this visit. And he's had to work hard to deal with it.
Goes.
They needed that. They really needed that, and that being on Tom's break as well was big. They now get the break in the Scotch frame, try and find a ball and get this one tied up.
Yeah, it's all very well and good knowing that you play the frame as Tom Jones Jr. does, and we talked about that advantage that they have, but it's all well and good knowing that you can play it, but if you can't play it because you're frozen out the table, it doesn't matter.
All you can do is hope that you make a ball off your break, and you'd expect Tom to do that. So far, is 2 good breaks and 2 dry ones.
Josh Kane now knows how that feels. Tom Jones straight to the table. He's not standing on ceremony after the way his 2 breaks have unfolded so far. Brilliant break from Josh. And no friends.
And an even better layout than the one that Josh just had off the Tom Jones break. These reds are just sitting there, just waiting to be put away. It's actually hard to make too much of a case for this one going wrong, actually. I mean, not getting on the 8 ball nicely, maybe getting yourself in a little bit of a mess around the middle, but the 2 reds in the middle of the table, the top one passes the other one to the bottom left. Maybe not. It's just all sat there lovely. Connections are beautiful here.
Player once scored the 5th beetle by Mick Hill, Tom Jones Jr. It's amazing actually the growth in his game since he was christened that in his first sort of proper Ultimate Pool tournament. And the sort of 3 years since, in a Challenger Series, elevated himself to the pros, and he's shown, especially in the last sort of probably 12 months in particular, just how good a player he is.
He's worked hard on his game. I think that's one thing that you've got to give him a lot of credit for. He's worked incredibly hard to take what he had, which was a raw talent, and try and work on it and improve. And he's absolutely still work in progress, but he is making great progress. They have made a mistake here for me, though. Leaving this ball for last was, in my opinion, a big error, because now they don't have a good ball to get on the 8 ball. Tom's going to have to force this.
Yeah, a little bit straight for the shot that he wants.
Made that look easy.
Poor.
Barely touched it and it just popped up. He was quite straight on that ball, very well executed.
Yeah, I mean, he's played a brilliant shot. Makes me question if it was ever a problem at all, how easy
it didn't look nice.
Yeah, terrific shot by...
He just struck it well.
Tom Jones Jr. And right now, Callum Singleton and Josh Kane cannot keep up with the Joneses. You can very much qualify from a defeat in your first match, but it does put your back up against the wall.
Also, what it's going to do is ask, for them to come through, somebody else is going to have to beat the Joneses, and he's never a comfortable position to be in. Tom's going to change break here. The first two were unsuccessful, even though well struck.
Makes me a bit sad, especially the way he hit his first break. You can't fault that one. A couple of balls falling straight away, 8 balls flying around the table. We'll see that break more than once tonight.
Yeah, and another beautiful split. One yellow to land on, one on the left-hand side. I don't think he'll go reds. The 2 reds at the top of the table look like they're slightly off angle for the plant, but yellows look just beautiful here. 1 ball to land on.
We saw 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 take down the Champions League title last Monday night. You're currently looking at his practice partner. And I do wonder, and we talk a lot about how Deck's game has really elevated since he's essentially become a de facto full-time player since his move over to England. And a big part of that is because he's able to put in so many hours with the man at the table right now. And that's a two-way street, because I reckon Tom Jones's game will come on leaps and bounds from spending so much time, which you will do, sat in your chair watching 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 play. Not that he doesn't give Deck his fair share of dust-ups himself.
Yeah, but learning from one of the very, very best is a way to go for sure. That development shot he played a little bit earlier on, it just gone slightly wrong, so he's going to make this now, and he doesn't. So this match isn't over just yet. He made a mistake for me. His first shot, he should have got a lot straighter on the one to the centre pocket, and that would have allowed him to play on that one on the cushion. There was never a need to move it, and once he moved it, it went awkward.
Callum Singleton has 2 quite awkward reds at the top of the table there. Far from a guaranteed finish, this, especially where he's finished.
Where he's finished it, I wonder if he was trying to play into those, and he was not really that close.
Missed a tricky pot there. I think he may have even had to turn. Tom Jones wasn't missing that. Perfect.
This is a nice angle to drift off the bottom cushion onto this 8 ball. Float it in. It's going to go both sides of the red naturally.
Threw a little bit on side on there just to widen the angle. Tom Jones has got this pot for the first victory of the night. Lovely, lovely pot, and a terrific win for the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s, who are off to an absolute flyer once again in the Pairs Cup. It may well yet be their year. The defending champs are beaten, and they've got work to do when we return on the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup.